Action.
Welcome to Off Camera, Music Film Society radio show all about movies. I'm Ollie.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Ken.
And we'll be your directors for this episode. This week is the final episode of the season and semester. And also, my final episode as a host of the show.
Yeah.
Deeply sad.
After this episode, that'll be a wrap on Ollie forever.
Be a new host next season.
Yeah. Which we won't spoil yet.
Might have had him on the podcast already.
Maybe.
Maybe you can guess who.
Previous guests.
Yeah.
Send us a DM. See if you know. I'm not going to tell you, but you can send us a DM.
You'll find out.
Yeah.
But today we'll be doing a deep dive into The Last Samurai and discussing some other film-related things. I think there are some recommendations bouncing around that will come up later.
A few special categories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll be jumping into. But first, as always, recent watching. So, Jake, what have you watched this week?
A little bit of a slow week as uni wraps up this semester. Been working on assignments a lot. I watched the movie The Last Samurai, which we'll talk about later. I also watched Mamma Mia with my girlfriend. That was a ton of fun. I love ABBA and their music, and watching these actors like Meryl Streep and Stellan Skarsgård like just be obviously drunk on camera and have fun with each other. It's awesome. I loved it. I had a great time watching it. And my girlfriend and her friends were dancing and singing, so it was like the movie came to life. I had a great time. And I also watched Pitch Perfect 2, which sucked. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a bad movie.
Okay.
That's quite emphatic.
Yeah, it was bad.
Just for those
That's all
of
I
you
have
not
to
in the
say.
US, for translation, it's ABBA.
Okay, my bad.
Cam, what did you watch?
I didn't watch much. I watched The Last Samurai, obviously, but I also watched a film called Operation Mincemeat.
I
which is
saw
a
that on Netflix,
film. Yeah, it's about
Don't think
World
I've
War
ever heard of
II
it.
and a plot to deceive the Nazis by hiding fake battle plans on a dead body that washes up in Spain.
Nice.
Colin Firth?
Yeah, Colin Firth. I still had 10 minutes left of the film and I didn't finish it because something came up, but it was okay. I'd give it a solid 2.5. But Colin Firth was very good.
He's great.
If you're looking for a good Colin Firth film.
Yeah, he's fun. Always good to see
Really
Colin
good.
Firth.
Wait, hang on.
Great in Mamma Mia.
Never mind.
Yeah, very good. Very good in Mamma Mia.
Mm.
Very good in Mamma Mia. Anything else?
I also watched Red. So it's a Bruce Willis film from...
I think you've talked about it
2010.
before.
I think I have. No, there was Red 2. I don't know. There's two films.
Okay.
But I watched the first Red with Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, and John Malkovich.
Great cast.
Nice.
Helen Mirren
it's
as
got a
well.
really
Carl
good-
Urban,
Yeah,
Richard
it's got
Dreyfuss,
a really
Brian
good
Cox.
cast. It's very funny. I definitely recommend it. The second one is better than the first, but it's just a funny action.
Is it action comedy?
Yeah.
Nice. That's a really good genre.
There's a lot more. It feels more actiony than comedy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's done in a way that you can't put it in either category. Really, it sits perfectly in the middle.
It's a mix of both.
Yeah. Anyway, what did you watch, Ollie?
I watched The Last Samurai was obviously the main thing, but on Monday, right after our last recording, I went home and watched Transformers.
Nice.
And I will be doing a slow marathon in that I will be watching sort of like one of those a week until I've seen all of them because I'm watching them with a friend. And then
Revenge of the Fallen is goated.
last night I watched Monsters University just for something chill, wholesome vibes, and yeah, I don't really feel like I have many faults with that movie. It's not a perfect movie, but I don't think I can critique the story that much. It's wholesome, good for kids. So I gave it 4 stars. I mean, it's Pixar. They're pretty good quality, even with their less liked or less popular movies.
I'm with you there. I think when I think of Monsters and Monsters Inc. and Monsters University, I remember more for Monsters University than I do for Monsters Inc.
I think I've only seen Monsters Inc. once ever.
I've only watched it through fully twice, and that was like decades ago.
Yeah.
I watched Monsters University once when it came out. I didn't like it. Monsters Inc. is in my top 5 Pixar, so
Damn.
that's pretty wild.
Mine's opposite. Well, not top 5 Pixar, but like...
Top 5.
Yeah.
Not I didn't like Monsters, Inc., but I just have never really rewatched it. Whereas Monsters University came out, I really liked it, and I've seen it.
I couldn't tell you what
Maybe
happens in
once or
Monsters
twice
University.
since. Crazy.
They go to college.
They go to university, yeah. Who'd have thought?
That's all I know.
It's nothing like college or university.
Did you just not like that Sully was sort of like a bad guy?
I don't remember what I didn't like about it. I saw it in 2013. So
When you were a child.
I was 11.
Yeah.
So yeah, a child.
When you were a child.
Maybe I need to rewatch it. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know that you would like it anyou'll
I've got it at
that's
1.5
just
stars, which is definitely too
Ooh.
low. But I just
Yeah,
don't know what I
that's
think about it, to be honest.
It's
It's
a
too
Pixar
low for
movie.
a Pixar film,
Yeah.
but you have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I'll rewatch it and probably bump it up a little bit, but
Yeah.
who knows by how much.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I watched.
Nice.
We want to dive into a picky moment before we go to the main
Absolutely.
thingy.
So we're going to be doing a pick your moment for one of the classics.
One of the greatest films ever made, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Never seen it before.
Ha ha. Good joke.
I haven't watched it.
Because
in
we are
ages.
talking about
No.
The Fellowship of the Ring, the first of the 3 Lord of the Rings movies, based on the book of the same name. And it was really groundbreaking at the time. Came out 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Jackson of New Zealand, my
Yes,
hometown.
Yeah.
The
Not
King
re-
of New Zealand.
Not really
With-
my
with
hometown,
Queen
but where
Taika
my family's
Waititi.
from.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They would kill on a movie together.
It'd be interesting.
They've got very different styles.
Yeah, but like,
I know who I
The
like
same
more.
kind of humor, though.
Ah.
I reckon.
okay,
Sorry,
Jeff.
I'm just being annoying.
I know who you like more too. Yeah, they've got very different
no, I'm just
styles. I don't
joking
know
with you.
that I do like one more than the other. Obviously, Taika's one of my favorite directors,
Yeah.
but Peter Jackson has like no faults.
Yeah.
Whereas Taika, arguably, like some people have big like flaws that they think he has.
Mm.
So I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna do a pick your moment of the Fellowship of the Ring, not the whole Lord of the Rings franchise, just the first movie.
Quick question on that: is this your favorite Lord of the Rings? Both.
It's the most rewatchable for me.
Yeah.
The others, like, I feel like if you start with watching The Two Towers or Return of the King, you're like, no, I need to watch the other ones.
Yeah.
But sometimes you watch The Fellowship and you're like,
You're
yeah,
good.
that's it.
You're good. You know?
Mm.
I don't need to watch the rest of them.
I've never watched them individually. I've always watched them in a marathon.
Same.
But
So the ones that the one that I've watched the most is the Battle of the Five Armies
From The Hobbit.
Hobbit?
from The Hobbit. Out
It's
of
the
all,
worst of the 6.
that movie's not good.
it's the one that I've watched the most. I've seen the Fellowship of the Rings 1.5 times.
I do really like the first Hobbit movie.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah.
It just didn't need.
No,
It shouldn't have been a trilogy, but we can. I feel like that's been said a lot of times.
Yeah, that's not for us to discuss.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite
In this
Lord of the Rings
final
movie, though.
episode.
I mean, it's just so good, but I don't want to get into that.
Anyway, I would like to start with my moment.
Yeah, of
before
course you do.
You all steal it. My moment is the classic. You shall not pass from Gandalf when he's fighting the massive. I don't know its name.
Balrog.
The Balrog. Yeah.
Mhm.
Just
Fire demon.
absolute fire lion with fire demon.
Amazing line reading. It's so powerful.
However, he definitely could have jumped. He could have definitely pulled himself back up on that ledge, but
Hey,
He's
he
an old
didn't-
man.
He didn't need to.
he's like he's a magic man. He's a wizard.
If you've watched The Two Towers, you know you're glad that he didn't, because what he does to that Balrog is awesome and so much better than him just pulling himself up.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
It's a fantastic moment in the first movie, and it's really powerful for all the other characters.
Yeah.
But it's even better knowing that he comes back
Yeah.
as an even stronger wizard and
Yeah.
is just the best character in the franchise.
Absolutely. Truly iconic moment. So can't fault you there.
Okay.
Shall I go next?
Yeah, you go, Jake.
Yeah, mine's not really like an action-y moment. It's really early in the film. We're in the Shire, and Gandalf first shows up, and Frodo hops on his wagon, and they start driving, and you're introduced to Hobbiton the first time. Hobbiton.
All right, then. Keep your secrets.
Yes, and concerning hobbits, Howard Shore starts playing,
Fantastic.
and I just feel at home. I feel safe. I feel at peace, especially going to...
Fun fact: when Gandalf first rolls into Hobbiton, he's singing a song, and that song is a poem that Bilbo wrote in the books.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of great Easter eggs in there and around the Shire. especially now having gone to the place where they filmed it, being on that set, it makes it all the more special. I just get chills. I feel so great when I'm in the Shire. Like, I could have picked any moment in the Shire, to be honest, but that moment specifically, when you see it for the first time, it's very special.
There's a clip from the Graham Norton show where it's Elijah Wood talking about how they made Hobbiton in real life, and Graham Norton doesn't believe that it's a real place that you can go to.
Yeah,
it's such an iconic.
It's
clip.
crazy.
You should search it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool that they preserve the set, and you can stay there, can't you?
Yeah, well,
some parts.
When I
Some
came, they were
sections,
still
there's like
working
a
on that, unfortunately. But I think they're working towards like having livable areas, not livable, stable areas.
Imagine,
for
like,
tourists.
because you can already like walk through some of the Hobbit holes.
Yeah.
But imagine actually like opening that door and being like, "This is where I'm
And
staying
hitting
for
your
a
head
couple of
on the
nights."
ceiling.
Oh my god! Imagine watching Lord of the Rings in that Hobbit home. It's the
Yeah,
life.
it would be illegal not to.
No.
Yeah. Bro, I don't
Anyway,
care.
what's your moment?
I think my moment. I mean, you two have sort of taken the classic moments, and I could very easily pick either of them.
Yeah.
And like you said, Jake, any time in the Shire is just an
the best.
iconic moment.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna. I feel like even though you picked a specific moment in the Shire, you've taken the Shire. You've really covered that. I really loved the sequence from the moment that Frodo gets stabbed, all the way till they leave Rivendell.
Oh my god, yes, that's
It's a
amazing.
fantastic sequence.
Yeah.
But I think an underrated moment in that sequence is when the elf woman, I've forgotten her
Éowyn?
name. Yeah, Éowyn, comes in and takes out all of the ringwraiths, like in the river.
Yeah.
And the river surges up, and it's these
The horses
of water.
Great scene.
And while it's happening, she like scoops Frodo up like he's nothing, dumps him on the back, rides off, and then it like fades out, and it fades back in, and he's in Rivendell, and it looks so stunning, and Bilbo's there, and it's just like that tonal shift along with that epic moment and that great CGI. Yeah,
the first time seeing Rivendell is also springs to mind. Yeah, that cut to him just waking up there. It's like, oh my god, like we're just in this most gorgeous place ever. Yeah, it's crazy.
Definitely an honorable mention though when they're going down the river between the two massive statues.
God. Dude.
Like,
yes,
I did think about doing the end.
The ending is great.
The ending sequence, the whole fight at the beach.
Boromir's
death.
His
redemption
dies in a movie.
His redemption in his final moment after sort of his semi-turn and 2/3 of the way through. Yeah, it's a very harrowing moment at the end there. But I think I'm going to stick with the Rivendell moment because just the way they designed that and the CGI they did to make it look so like real and so breathtaking. I just think it's really fantastic.
Yeah, it's full of just great moments, especially with how long it is. One small scene, real quick, is right before. I guess it's kind of the Shire, but it's right before they leave the Shire. It's literally the path, like the longest Sam's ever been away from home. He says that, and it's just
a great moment.
It's a great moment to start his journey and start their journey together.
Because it doesn't even feel that far.
No,
it's like it's just outside the Shire.
But it's so far to him, obviously. So yeah,
that's just how hobbits work, though. They don't travel very far.
Yeah, they have the best life ever.
Before Bilbo, pretty much no one travelled.
Haven't you? Never mind.
Haven't I what?
I was going to say, haven't you deliberately travelled from here to the other side of the world many times?
Yeah, I guess. Not by choice, but
not by your choice.
Screw Australia.
Go back to your hometown.
Yeah,
not that hometown. That's different.
Yeah, I know. My hometown is now in New Zealand, at the Shire.
Aotearoa.
Okay, well, why don't we move on to our main event, I guess you could say. So we all watched The Last Samurai.
Indeed, we did.
I had seen it before, but it was the first time for both of you guys.
Yeah. When's the last time you had seen it?
I watched it in high school. Like, that was the first time I watched it. And then I think I had probably seen it like the end of high school. So maybe around 2019 or 2020, when the first time I watched it would have been 2016 or 17.
Did it feel
so it has
fresh
been
to
a
you?
couple of years. Yes.
Yeah.
I knew essentially what happened, but there were a lot of specific moments that I couldn't remember in the slightest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It is a long movie.
It
with
was
a lot
almost like a
so,
rewatch.
Yeah, nice.
In a way, which felt really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, a first watch,
Yeah,
not a rewatch. Yeah, so that felt really nice. But
Nice.
I'm very interested to hear what you guys thought about it.
Yeah.
I have
Should
a
I
very
get
long,
my general thoughts?
Yeah, let's get your general thoughts, and then
Yeah.
we can jump into specifics, because I have a very long notes document.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start by saying, reflecting after the film, I definitely liked it more than my actual like experience watching it. It's one of those that like on reflect you think about it as a whole and you appreciate it more as a whole.
Yeah, I definitely think because I knew what was coming up, I could sit there and take notes, and when a moment happened, I would be like, okay, well, this is good knowing what's coming next, whereas you might have been like, this moment sucks.
Yeah.
And then later been like, actually, that moment was good. But at the time, you're not reflecting because you're just watching what's in front of you.
I liked it. I love samurais. I love the atmosphere. I love the world. So I really did like it. There was just a few things that held me back from really liking it and really loving it. I feel like it was almost there, but not quite there for me. And I'll get into that a little bit in specifics. But overall, I really liked it, and I'd watch it again.
Awesome. Fantastic. Cam?
I kind of match to that. I don't think I would watch it, not for a while again. But I don't know.
It is very long.
It's 2.5 hours.
But like,
It feels long.
it feels long.
It felt very long, but I liked it, but I don't think I'd watch it again for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we
just
really
don't
need to
think
get
I
into
liked it
specifics.
as much as
Yeah.
you were hyping it up to be.
That's
Unfortunately,
fair. Okay, let's jump into specifics, because I think once we start breaking it down, we can really feel the vibes.
I definitely have more specific thoughts than general thoughts.
Yeah. So why don't we do camera first? Cinematography.
Yep, sounds good. Cam, you want to go
Cam,
first?
you are the cinematographer here.
look, didn't really stand out to me.
I'm going to agree with that,
Pretty generic.
but at the same time, I felt that they didn't have any. So here's my note. Not every shot is so like unbelievably composed. It doesn't feel like they've spent hours and hours designing and crafting each and every shot. Sort of in the same way like Dune 2 feels very
Deliberate.
precise and deliberate.
It just feels what they're capturing it because they have to.
No, I disagree with that.
That's what I felt. From
Okay.
that.
But I disagree with that, because what I've said is that first part, it doesn't feel like it's so unbelievably composed because it feels raw and like they've just taken it from nature, and they've got like, it feels more like they care about the content of it than the composition of it. They're in Japan. They've got this stunning nature. So even if it's not like an experiment with depth of field or multi-focus or anything
Which there wasn't
crazy
a lot of.
like
There
that.
wasn't a lot of depth of field.
Yeah, even if it's not that, every shot still looks stunning because of what's in it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
That being said, there are still a lot of like stunning shots.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of silhouettes.
Yeah, those
There's
are amazing.
some fantastic close-ups, especially in like the fight scenes when they go into slow-mo.
Slow-mo is incredible in this movie.
Yeah, whatever you want to say about slow-mo, which I did enjoy it in this movie, though maybe it's used too much sometimes.
I didn't think
But
so.
I think it works in this movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't Schneider levels.
Yeah. But yeah, they use that to get some incredible close-ups. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed the cinematography. While I was watching it, going, oh, this isn't really like that unique. But I still think it's fantastic.
I think it's solid. I think there's some stunning shots, like you say. But then again, I don't know if that's because of the environments they're in,
But I
and
think-
the costumes and production.
But I don't think that makes the cinematography bad if it is just because of what's in it.
It's
That's a
just
choice
simple.
they've made.
Yeah. It feels like it should have been a little bit better, a little bit more experimental, especially
perhaps.
in the battle sequences. I really wanted like more. Maybe this is just what I like, but like maybe more like longer takes and more free flowing to show the action.
But
maybe that's just me.
That is it's a theme that has slowly been weeded out over the years. Very choppy action scenes, and I found that a lot of the cuts in this film were loud. They were really loud cuts, not like physically loud. Like
I know what you mean.
But every single cut, I noticed it.
Yeah.
And it was sometimes quite more than I would have liked. Quite jarring. As far as a cut should be, especially in the action scenes. They were cutting too much slightly before the action, and that, yes, this is more editing, but still, it was a bit...
I think where the action scenes were best was when it was like a one-on-one,
yes,
or a one-on 3 or 4 or something. When they went into the big battles, they were truly impressive. They had heaps of extras and great production design and costume design and everything, and it was well choreographed. But when you actually got into the nitty-gritty of it, it did sort of choppily cut through, which is a creative choice. It definitely makes it feel a bit scarier. It feels a bit more like you're there feeling the adrenaline, but at the same time, it is a little bit of a harder watch.
Yeah. But yeah, I will say about the slow-mo, I was expecting to hate it. I'm usually not a fan of slow-mo. And then, especially in like those flashback sequences, it did like that 12 frames per second flashbacks.
It's really jittery.
I just hate. And it did it in Gladiator. We talked about that.
Yeah.
But then it got to very like great slow-mo, I thought. Like very well thought out and very well
I
filmed.
do have a note about those flashbacks.
So with film, it is really hard to shoot slow-mo because the majority of the time they just slow down each frame.
Yeah.
There are slow-mo film cameras, but you get film speed for about 3 seconds, and then that's gone. So they have to... Yeah, it's very expensive. But I think they didn't use slow-mo as good as they could have. Yes, there were some really good moments, but I think the bad moments outweighed the good ones, unfortunately.
I think if we think of the slow-mo use from like a story perspective, I think they've used it really well. From a camera perspective, maybe not as well, but I think
I agree with
that 12 frames per second, that really jittery slow-mo in the flashbacks really shows his discomfort with everything that's going on.
It makes
sense. It was a good way to communicate.
Whatever you want to think about flashbacks, I mean, I don't like flashbacks very much.
Flashbacks,
but I think they were used quite effectively in this, especially with that slow-mo. And then in the final battle at the end, when the whole final group is riding towards the Gatling guns, and it's like that very last stand, that's all in slow-mo. And while I was watching, I was sort of like, this is a bit much now. But then you really feel every impact of every bullet, and you feel the sadness of the characters' deaths, and you feel the power of how each of these characters in this moment are having their dream of stopping this like negative development of Japan. You feel that get crushed in every moment with every bullet hit. At least that's how I felt while I was watching it, because it's a bit slower. If it was just like they ride off and it's in normal speed
for a little bit, then it got annoying. Each impact was very cartoony. There were suddenly there were a lot of inconsistencies with the numbers of the samurai troops, and that kind of threw me off. It was like, okay, so they had a bunch of them die, and there's only like 12 of them left. Wait, hang on. Now there's 15 of them. Now there's 20 of them, and now we're back to 10. Like I don't know, a little bit inconsistent.
I didn't feel like that
for the
bothered
point of
me.
like showing they're putting their lives into this. This is what they're fighting for, and this is the last stand. And if they don't stand for it, like they're throwing everything at it, and it makes sense there. It's just if you're looking at it from a technical perspective, it could be better.
Okay,
I think that's just what I thought. I think I'd probably need to watch it again to get a proper grasp of it. But
yeah, I was more focused on the story and
I definitely think
the characters.
In my opinion, the story is the great strength of this film. Like, it's what ties it all together.
That's true.
It might not be like a 5 out of 5 story. We'll talk about that later. I don't know what your guys' ratings are. But I think you can have these problems with the camera like it can be really good in some moments and really like have some flaws in other moments, but the story ties it all together.
Mm. It does,
and we'll get to that a bit later.
I have a lot of thoughts on the story,
Yeah.
but I'm
I can
excited to get there.
imagine you do.
Yeah.
So what would you guys rate the camera, the cinematography?
3. It's not great, but also not terrible. It's very just standard. There are quite a few standout shots, and if it was on film grab, I'd be able to remember specifically. But there were a lot of great use of silhouettes that I liked, but then there were also a lot of negatives with some of the choppiness and then the editing, which is not really to do with camera, but it kind of lends itself to that area.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think 3 stars.
I'm gonna give it. Can I give 0.5s?
Yeah,
3.5.
Yeah, that's what I'll give it to.
Yeah, because there was some stunning shots, like you said. As a whole, maybe just a bit like you don't really notice it, but yeah, the environments are amazing. Shot in New Zealand, by the way. How great is that? Yeah. Looked
It's
amazing.
cheaper than Japan.
Yeah. So what it captured was great. I don't know if how it was capturing it was the best, but
Yeah,
I didn't hate it.
I have brought mine down immediately after after finishing it. I did really love it because while watching was having that sort of mental battle with myself about composition versus content of a shot. But I have brought it down a bit because I do think being realistic, it does have some flaws, but it is still very enjoyable to watch and to look at.
It's not distracting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I didn't
Sometimes
find
maybe,
it too.
Yeah.
I found it distracting because I was thinking about it.
Yeah, right.
But I think if you just tune it out, which is not that hard to do because it looks nice. It's not like it looks bad.
No.
It just maybe doesn't look
Amazing.
Stellar.
Yeah.
It looks.
There were the cool elements of
it looks
it being
great.
shot on film that I really like in the visual quality with the grain, but also some of the halation and the red highlights on people in the sunset. So it looks super cool. But yeah, if you're looking at it from a whole, pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we're all 3.5? No, you're 3.
Cam's 3.
Yeah, okay.
So averages to 3.35.
We'll figure that out at the end.
So next category, sound.
Sound. Are we going to split this up again, like sound design and score? Because I have a lot of thoughts on the score.
I haven't really talked that much about the score. I know it's Hans Zimmer. I think he's done some amazing work here.
Yeah.
I don't think it's his best score, but that's hard to say because he has so many scores that are just 10 out of 10 every time. So even if this is, say, an 8 out of 10, it's still not his best score. But that doesn't mean it's not good. So, yeah, I just sort of let it wash over me and let myself feel it, but I wasn't really thinking that much about the score or even the sound.
Interesting. I definitely wasn't thinking about the sound design, but the score stood out to me the most and was the aspect of the film that I grasped onto the most. I think it did a lot of the heavy lifting on the emotional beats, and those still didn't really land for me, but we'll get into that. And I thought it emphasized each moment the best it could. I thought it was a great score. Definitely not one of his best, but he's got so many. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the score. Cam, what did you think about it?
Pretty much, yeah. Nothing really stood out to me. It was felt just like a generic score. Each piece hit their mark when it came to emphasizing a moment, but nothing really I wouldn't listen to this score in my spare time,
I would. I really
kind
liked
of
it,
thing.
personally.
Sound design on the other matter was really good.
Yeah, it was great.
It did a really good job of selling the era that it was meant to.
Yeah,
that
I've
we were
got it.
depicting.
Really sold the setting, and I think sound design specifically did make the beats more emotional.
Yeah.
Like-
However, there were some moments that could have had more, but also a lot that could have had a lot less.
Yeah,
And sometimes it became a little bit overwhelming.
I think it was overwhelming in the right moments, and it made you feel overwhelmed because what was happening on screen was meant to be overwhelming.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. The overwhelming nature of it.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 4 out of 5 because I think it did what it set out to do. Maybe it wasn't impressively creative or playing with something unique, but it did a really good job of selling what you were watching.
I do reckon, because, yes, this film is
21 years old.
21 years old. I reckon if we had watched it back then and reviewed it back then, compared to the absolute treasure trove of films that we have
it's
today.
hard to not compare to stuff that's come out since.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Like, would we think it's a perfect movie in 2003? No, because there's stuff that's come out before that is also amazing.
Yeah.
But we definitely have different opinions than we do now.
I will say though, Gladiator feels like a movie that's very similar to this to me, and that came out 3 years prior to this.
Yeah.
And Gladiator does look and feel a lot better than this. Personally,
Yeah, I would agree that Gladiator is a better film.
I think that's down to the director, though. Ridley Scott is great.
Yeah.
So
I can't even remember who directed this.
Edward Zwick.
Yeah, I'd never heard of
He
this.
made Blood Diamond, the second Jack Reacher film. You know, I've only seen one of his other films, which is a rom-com with Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway, and it's a fine movie.
Yeah.
So, and Ridley Scott's directed Alien and Blade Runner. So
Wait, what was the second Jack Reacher film called?
Never Go Back, something. I haven't seen it, but
Can't remember.
yeah, I was looking at his letterbox the other day.
Mm-hmm. Bit of a Tom Cruise guy then.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, right, that Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking of...
Are you thinking of the TV show?
No, there's
There's one with Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
and then there's
so
one
there's a
with
whole
Tom
series
Cruise.
of Jack Reacher films, but they're not always called Jack Reacher, name of film.
Right.
Sorry, I was thinking of Hunt for the Red October, which is
Jack Ryan.
also
Jack Reacher.
That's Jack Ryan.
That's Jack Ryan. Oh my
yeah,
god,
yeah.
they're also
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, no, sorry, I'm thinking Jack Ryan. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'd give sound 4 out of 5 too. Yeah.
Give it a 3.
Okay.
Now, production design. This is where I was pleasantly surprised.
Oh my god, it was great.
It was really good.
It was amazing.
It was really good. The costuming was really well done. The kimonos of the samurai, and also the whole battle dress of the samurai with their helmets and their masks was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
I think the era appropriate Civil War clothing
Mm-hmm.
was also really well done. I was looking for like watches on wrists or like people wearing sunglasses or something like that.
Some anachronism.
Yeah, stuff that stands out, but I couldn't
It
find
never faltered for me.
It was really well done. Yeah, I think the sets were really good.
I want to know if they
Paper.
built that village.
If they did, wow. I mean, it was perfect. Down to every last detail, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was really good. I think it wasn't. What was it? Is it Kyoto? The big city that they arrive in.
I think it was.
I think it's Kyoto because Tokyo wasn't the capital until not 1900s.
Not filming locations. Where was? Okay, it's only giving me filming locations, but they said a Japanese fishing village was built at Port Taranaki for the film, just to be burnt down as a part of the movie.
Ah, yeah, there is that couple of shots of them burning the thing down.
Yeah, when the ninjas show up, the shinobi.
Yeah, but there's only 5 shots of it as well. Damn, disappointing. Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, the production design was amazing. I mean, I've been playing and consuming a lot of samurai content recently, so I was really looking at that to see how it compared, and it was literally 1 for 1. So I was really happy to see all those sets and see all those environments captured so perfectly.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. I think it would just it really nailed it.
Yeah,
production design wise, props, costume, sets, really everything was.
His samurai outfit at the end is really cool.
Yeah,
and as a plot detail, it's sitting in the background of a whole bunch of different scenes.
The way they incorporated it into the story was really good.
Yeah, I don't know about what you do in the US, but here, Japanese is a really big language to learn.
Yeah, not in the US at all.
Oh, well, there you go. It's more. It's Spanish, right?
Spanish,
Spanish
Italian.
is huge everywhere. Spanish is the second biggest language.
It's more Italian, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
That was from where I was from
But yeah,
in the US.
Japanese is a really big language to learn here. And when you learn Japanese, you learn about the culture and the history of Japan. And this absolutely nailed it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 5 out of 5?
I'd give it a 4.
I'd give it a
4.
5.
What's taking it down then?
The costume of... What's his name?
Katsumoto?
No.
Which guy?
I forget.
Nathan Algren? whatever his name is.
The sergeant.
Emperor.
The Emperor.
I was expecting more.
That's what they would have worn by then. Especially, like, if you think about the plot, he's being manipulated by the other guys to be more Western. He's obsessed with the West. He's wearing a suit, but it's still got those Japanese touches. That's what they would have worn.
Yeah, it made sense to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, you can still give it a 4 if it took you
Give it a 4.
If it took you out of it a little bit, like that's your opinion, but it's not inaccurate.
No, it's not. They pretty much nailed everything. It's just
5 for me.
5 for me as well.
Now the acting.
Oh man.
All right, start us off then, Jake.
So, Cruise, I love his movies. He's not my favorite actor acting wise, but like the projects he chooses, I think are my favorite. Like he's been in so many of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And I do think he's a really good actor when he wants to be and when he gets the material.
Range that he has.
He can be so amazing. But here, it was lazy in my opinion.
I've seen worse performances from him.
Oh, me too.
I think it's upper middle of his performances.
It's somewhere in the middle.
But I think comparatively, because I think a lot of he's pretty much the only like white actor for the majority of the movie.
Yeah.
And I think everyone else just carries all the scenes they're in.
Especially, we'll get to the other guy, other lead, who's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I think, it's Tom Cruise is not the best actor in this movie.
No. And
Or the best performance.
he's kind of just playing himself, which he does in Mission Impossible and Top Gun.
I think
that
it
works for
better
that
in those.
movies.
He is a modern actor. Like, he fits in a modern setting.
Yeah.
And so it is a bit weird or a bit jarring to see him in this period piece.
I like the beard and I like the long hair. Like, that's a really cool
worked.
look. He looks
worked.
awesome. He really looks the part. I just think the character, this gets into the writing, I just don't think he's given the right material to, like, that character isn't strong enough in my opinion. And then also he kind of just doesn't play it to the best of his abilities. So
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah.
He was my favorite.
he was great.
No wonder he got his own show.
Yeah.
Like, Shogun makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, he's a big actor outside of Western movies.
Yeah.
But seeing him in this, knowing that this was 21 years before Shogun, and he's killing it in The Last Samurai, and then he gets his own show.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The first fight between him and Nathan is a great scene when it's raining.
In the rain.
Yeah.
That, like, the cinematography then.
Yeah.
That was a peak.
The editing.
That's probably my favorite scene in the movie.
The use of rain in this.
The kids, I think the kids, particularly that one main kid, I think is like Aikido. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
But he really killed it. Like, child actors, they actually tend to be really good a lot of the time. But I think
Depends.
Yeah. But I think in
This
this
is definitely a standout.
Yeah.
Ken Watanabe was amazing.
He was
Absolutely. I love him in everything
really
he's
Yeah,
in.
he's
close
always
second.
great. Yeah.
Really close second.
Yeah.
But also, surprise Billy Connolly.
Yeah. He's funny and
He's pretty good.
I like that character and I like
it.
that role. I will say that the guy from Harry Potter, Timothy Spall, that didn't work for me.
Wormtail, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of his character.
Yeah, no, not at all. He always annoyed me on screen. And that's not the point of that character.
No.
But yeah, I think the acting was like fine as a whole. There was definitely some standouts. I just don't think the lead is as strong as it should be. And
he definitely. I don't like the idea of like a character not. He was meant to be quite silent in the beginning and he doesn't talk much, but he's not very good at that. He's not very good at showing emotion. I'll be honest. On his face.
Cruise needs to play a character. Well, he does this earlier in his career. Like he's able to play emotion so well and play over the top. But I think later in his career, especially now, Cruise needs to play just himself. As bad as that sounds. But as bad as that sounds, but he's great in those Mission Impossible movies because you don't see Ethan Hunt. You see Tom Cruise running off a cliff.
Sometimes I forget that his name is Ethan Hunt.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh Tom Cruise.
And here, I was like, that's Cruise. That's not Nathan Algren. I never felt connected to him. I just was like, oh, Cruise.
Honestly,
I like Cruise.
look up his character's name at the end.
Yeah.
Because I just...
And that's not good. That's like, for this type of movie, it's not good at all.
I didn't have to do that. I guess I was paying attention to like
I was paying
the names.
Yeah,
is what I was gonna say. Paying attention to the names. But I do agree that his performance, in my opinion, is maybe the second weakest, apart from the other guy,
Timothy Spall. Yeah.
Chalamet.
Yeah, it sucks to say that Cruise brings the film down, but it does. It does.
Yeah, I wonder what the story would be like if you just took his character out.
A lot better. But that's down to the writing.
Yeah.
But I think it's also something to do with the publicity, especially in 2003.
Yeah, I mean, he's the biggest movie star at that time.
Yeah,
you got to offer your film to
Japanese
Tom Cruise.
actors weren't as big,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't have been as well known. So you need that big
Western-wise.
Western one.
In Japan.
In Japan, no, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're amazing. Then I honestly wonder.
So what would you give the acting then?
Sonata.
I think I'm going to have to go with 3.
I'm going to go 3.5 because I think everyone else does a really good job. It's just sort of those two guys.
It
Bring
hurts
it
it
down
that
a
much
little
for
bit.
me. Like, it really hinders my enjoyment of the movie that this lead isn't strong, especially because it's a guy that I know can be so strong and be a great movie star and great leading man.
I think what does help me in that is there are quite a lot of the movie is just in silence, or at least
fair.
no talking.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those scenes, we get more like Ken Watanabe or just wandering around the village, and we don't have to see like
You don't see
the
Tom
facial
Cruise.
acting.
Yeah.
There's not much talking. And I think Tom Cruise can do those well, but in this he doesn't particularly.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that in those slow moments we're not actually that focused on him works for me.
Fair.
And so it brings it down, but 3.5 rather than 3.
I'm choosing to ignore Cruise's performance in this, and I'm going to give it a 4.
How
That's
do you
fair.
ignore Cruise's performance in this? Personally, like, I just don't understand.
I think
that.
everyone
ignoring
else,
it.
genuinely, like I said, like if you took him out of it, it would be a better story. It's like, take him out of the equation. The acting is fantastic. And so I think it's unfair in a way to say the whole movie has bad acting.
I don't think it has
just
bad
him.
acting. I'm somewhere.
Yeah,
in the
no,
middle.
I know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like you're
That's why I'm
rating
ignoring
the
his
acting of
performance.
the whole movie,
Yeah.
and he's there.
Yeah, he's the lead. It's hard to ignore for me personally.
Yeah, but sometimes the lead is bad and the acting is still really good, and that's that's not good, but it's
he doesn't give the only bad performance in the film. And again,
No,
so
but it's
that's why
definitely
it's
a step.
also a 3.
It's a step.
But yeah, Ken Watanabe was great.
Tony Goldwyn though was pretty good.
He was okay.
I liked him. And the final category, writing. Did I say? Yeah, I said 4.
this is definitely
Writing.
coming down for me.
It's-
Even looking at my own notes, I'm surprised I rated it as high as I did, like immediately after the film, because there are so many bits in here that are like, this is a surprising choice. This doesn't work. I wonder why they did that.
a lot of it doesn't work for me personally.
I think if we just go down to the basic story of Japan is becoming more Western, there are two factions within the ruling classes, which are the people who want it to become more Western and the people who don't. There is a rebellion. Let's follow Ken Watanabe and see why it's a rebellion. I think that really works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Like,
totally agree.
It's historic. Like that's true. This happened, not the same way that the movie happened, but these events
No, exactly.
vaguely.
Tom Cruise went to Japan and taught people how to shoot guns
in the 1800s.
in the 1800s. He's a
Like,
time traveler.
These
I wouldn't
events
be surprised.
vaguely
like
happened. The
fun.
Meiji Restoration is a massive part of Japanese history.
Mhm.
But
Didn't they? On a note on that, didn't they change history a slight bit? So the
Yeah, they-
treaty at the end, Japan in real life they did sign,
yeah,
and it
I'm pretty sure.
absolutely destroyed their economy because of it was an unequal treaty.
Yeah.
and that's
And
part of
it's
the
one
reason
of the
why they invaded Manchuria.
And which then led to blah 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 them fighting
Something,
on the
something,
side of the
Second
Axis
World
in
War.
World War II.
Yeah.
Yes, so they did change history, but the general events of the conflict did happen.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a very interesting thing to focus on. And so what I didn't like is that they throw in this white savior character.
It's atrocious. And
It happens a lot in movies
yeah.
and
Especially
just any sort of story really. And there are people in real life who do it as well,
Mhm.
like who fancy themselves as the savior and go into these marginalized communities. And it's problematic and it ruins the story quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I think if you took that character out and just focused on the rest of it, it has potential to be a 5 out of 5 story.
For sure. I wish this film was made today. I think it would be a lot better.
Yeah. I think they would have those realizations. And even Tom Cruise, today would look at it and be like, I'm not needed on this.
No. Yeah.
I'd still do it though.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe. The story, it was really bad. The thing I hated about it the most was the plot line with the widowed wife Taka that he falls in love with. That really, really annoyed me.
I liked his relationship with her kids.
Yeah, that was
really wholesome.
That was great.
Yeah. Why did they kiss?
That was awful.
You killed her bloody husband. Like,
and she literally says at one point in the movie, she's like, let me kill myself for the shame that this is bringing upon me. Like, culturally, that is it's terrible.
I never understood why she did that. I never will understand why she did that. I could watch it again and still.
It's like
probably
there's
not
one
understand.
moment after that conversation where she says, let me kill myself, and he says, and Katsumoto says no.
Mm-hmm.
After that, there's literally one moment where she sees him wrestling with the kids or something, and from there, everything entirely switches.
Dad, new father figure.
And yeah,
new father figure just dropped.
Every time it felt like I should be emotional, I felt absolutely nothing personally. Like, it never worked for me emotionally, and I feel like it should have.
I think it definitely worked for me emotionally anytime the original Japanese characters, like, had something happen to them. Like, the first major death in the film is, apart from Billy Connolly's character, who, like, sort of unfortunately doesn't really count as a major death, is Nobutada, the
Red Samurai?
No.
No, oh, sorry, the
sort of, the guy who's, I think it's Katsumoto's son. He
looks the same.
When he dies, because he gets shot a whole bunch of times. Maybe the scene itself is a bit contrived, but the moment, like, narratively, is pretty powerful. Whereas anything that happens with, like, Tom Cruise or any of those, like, outsider characters that have been brought in, it's just like, why? It doesn't have that same emotional impact.
Doesn't move me at all, and it feels like this film, should be moving and should be a sprawling epic that really gets you emotionally, especially with what it tries to do in its final moments. Which, like, the final battle itself is really cool, but, like, it doesn't work for me.
I will admit,
at all.
When Tom Cruise said, "I'll miss our conversations," I teared up.
That was the only time I got emotional.
It's like that and the poem that Katsumoto keeps asking Nathan about the final line, and then when he draws his sword, Katsumoto says these words that are engraved on there, and it's the final line of the poem. That was powerful.
Yeah, that's good. That's good writing.
I've literally got written down the final line of the poem being carved into Nathan's sword goes so hard.
It does go hard. It does go really hard.
And I said, this could be the end of the movie if it weren't for the unfortunate details of plot and the main conflict not being over.
Yeah,
like, that would be a powerful ending to the film.
Look, I wouldn't be disappointed if it ended there, because it would have left me wanting more.
It would have been great, and the last scene is so bad, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The last scene, I think, like, I only like it in the sense that, like, we don't get any more content from Katsumoto. Like, he does have a pretty powerful send-off where he does the, like, culturally right thing to do and takes his own life. That's pretty powerful that he makes that choice, and he doesn't feel any regret that he's made the wrong choices in his life in that moment. And I think it's powerful that his message gets passed on to the Emperor. It's just the way it's done is not necessarily that strong.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Tom Cruise should have died.
It's ridiculous.
Sorry.
I wrote down mega plot armor, Nathan being the last samurai, and then being the last survivor, and then I said, in brackets, the last samurai, if you will. And then I said,
Question mark.
actually, that title technically belongs to Katsumoto. He's the only one who really earned it.
Yes, for sure. The Katsumoto is definitely the last samurai in my eyes, but I don't know if it's in the movie's eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is just
Yeah.
really
I think
weird.
I think it has some really good moments
Yeah, it does.
strung together. Well, in fact, it has a lot of really good moments. Sort of everything in the village
Yeah, all the stuff in the village with the kids is
with the
great.
kids
Cool. I
is
liked-
really good.
I like the just walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him walking around and
I think that's-
experiencing that culture.
That's when the best plot and the best cinematography happens.
best acting
Is
as
the
well.
stuff in the village.
Yeah, the
the
middle of
best
this
acting.
movie, strongest part,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
The start and the end have their moments, but are mostly kind of
Yeah.
meh.
Honestly,
And that's unfortunate.
When he left the village and I saw that there was an hour left, I groaned. Like,
Well, at least he comes back, and you get some good moments back there
You know when
Kind
I
of.
groaned?
I still groaned.
when he showed up.
When they kissed. God dang, why did they make that choice?
Stop it.
It was so bad.
It's definitely for the audience at the time.
It was the most Hollywood thing I've ever witnessed.
So, what would you give the writing then?
2. For me, it's a 2 stars.
2.5.
I think I'm gonna go 3.5 because I do ultimately still enjoy this movie.
I wish
I enjoy the movie.
I have a lot of flaws. Like, I think it has a lot of flaws, and I really hate the white savior thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's like they've used that, questionable, but they've used it as a way to get into this Japanese culture and show that off. And at the very least, that is very cool.
Yeah.
True.
Look, I want to give it an extra half a star, but, well, 2 things. It's not... I don't think the story was by far the weakest point of this film.
I agree.
And I also don't have a half star emoji, so I can't. On my computer.
Why do you need emojis?
Because I'm rating with emojis.
He's doing it on the document.
Oh, well, there you go. Anyway, it's the weakest part of this film.
Yeah.
Yes, the best parts are the silent parts, unfortunately. It's where we're getting pretty imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 stars
Yeah,
for me.
the film did more character building through walking than actual dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright,
It
do you have
was-
the final tallies,
It
Ollie?
brought it down.
I'm doing that right now. So, do you guys have a favorite moment in the movie? Like one specific moment?
I think I already said this was my favorite moment, but definitely the fight between Nathan and what's the character name?
Just-
The guy.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, that fight in the rain was really well done. So that would have to be my favorite moment from the film.
Yeah, I hate to pick the same one, but unfortunately, the stylistic choices they made with the rain was
Mhm.
so good,
Mhm.
and just it's more about when Cruz keeps getting up and keeps fighting. It's
Yeah.
about what he stands for.
Yeah.
And what I did like about that actually is in the final battle, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really surprised by that in that moment.
Mhm.
In the final battle, he does that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like
he
where
keeps getting
where he
shot,
would
keeps going.
where he would otherwise have given up or like accepted defeat,
Mhm.
and that wouldn't have been shameful or anything. It would have been culturally fine,
Mhm.
as we see through their customs in the movie.
Mm.
It is still cool that after that fight scene, we see that he admires this ability to keep getting up and keep fighting no matter
Yeah.
what. And in that final battle, like you say, he gets shot right through the stomach in the first sequence. And it's a bit ridiculous that he survives, sure, but it's still cool
Mhm.
that he does keep getting back up.
Yeah, it's great. I think that's the moment from the film for us. Do you have a different one, Ollie?
I really like it's the first shot of him practicing his kata, his katana work in the sunset with the silhouette.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
That's my favorite specific
Like your favorite
moment.
frame.
Favorite frame, absolutely. But just the whole sequence around that where he's really immersed himself in the culture. There's another shot that I really love of him and Katsumoto walking along the side of the temple.
Mm-hmm.
And it's framed in such a way that, like, you're in the forest and you see, like, trees and a bunch of stuff, and then you just see the side of the temple with this massive beam of sunlight shining down on them. And there's a voiceover, which I don't love, but they're having this discussion, and it looks so peaceful, and you see that maybe in the middle of this war, there is actually some peace.
Yeah.
And that these adversaries can be friends.
his voiceover also not necessary.
I do have a bunch of notes on that. I won't even bother reading them. I think at the start I hated it, and then when it was clear that Katsumoto was reading the diaries, I thought it became a little bit better, just because it's sort of like you can pretend that this is him talking to Katsumoto instead of talking to the audience.
Yeah.
That was the only way I liked it a bit better, was if I made it up in my mind that it was working.
That would have really worked for me if the movie was from Katsumoto's perspective, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know. And so, but thinking about it as him talking to Katsumoto is really cool.
I think there's a lot of stuff they could have done in this movie, even keeping Tom Cruise in, that would have
totally
like made it better.
What if Tom Cruise was
like
the bad guy?
They could have had the same characters, same story, but like from Katsumoto's perspective, and it could have been better. Like those voiceovers could have literally been him reading the diaries instead of me having to imagine that.
For sure.
And things like just little moments like that.
Yeah, just make him the
as
main
he
character.
learns from his enemy and then comes to trust him, and he becomes his right-hand man. Just I mean, maybe he was the main character, because the very first shot is the very opening sequence is from him.
Yeah.
And then the ending is about his right-hand man honoring him. Maybe we can pretend it was him and retrospectively like it a little bit more.
Actually, side point, well, I want to take back a little bit what I said about Cruise's acting. The only time that I was genuinely moved by it and felt impacted by it was the final scene when he's kneeling in front of the Emperor and just crying.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, because he didn't say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that worked.
Yeah.
So I've tallied these up, and essentially we went for camera 3.3, which I've rounded to 3. For sound 3.6, which I've rounded to 3.5. For production design 4.6, so 4.5. For acting 3.5, and for writing 2.6, which is 2.5. And I'll just do the totals now. It comes to...
We'll go to a commercial breakdown. Sponsored by the UC Film Society.
3.4, so 3.5.
Yep, there you go. Lands to where I have it. So we're going to give our final ratings now?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Jake.
Well, yeah, my final, I gave it 3.5.
I gave it a letterbox signed out. Give me a second.
I wish I could give it like a 0.75. I think I'd go 3.75. I think I have enough nostalgia for it that I will rate it a 4. I think it probably is more worth a 3.5. I think the last time I watched it, I wasn't critically aware enough of filmmaking and stuff like that to be able to critique it the same way I have, which is why I recommended it to you. And I'm glad you still enjoyed it, even though it does have...
I'm glad I watched it.
A lot of flaws. But I do understand where they've come from, and I don't think it will be sitting as highly in my memory now, which is unfortunate, but understandable.
Yeah, that's okay. But it does always suck when you watch a movie and it's not as good as you remember it being. It's nothing worse than that feeling. Cam?
3.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we've got 3, 3.5, and 4.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's an even tally.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
So...
That was The Last Samurai. It was an interesting pick, but I enjoyed watching something that I probably wouldn't have watched otherwise.
I definitely would have watched it on my own, but not for like a while. So it was good to get that in front. But it definitely worked for me right now. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of samurai stuff, so it was good to be even further immersed in that world. Yeah. Ghost of Tsushima.
I definitely think after what we've talked about, I don't think I would watch it again.
I definitely will not watch it for quite some time now that I've seen it more recently, and like I've let it sit. Because if I look at my ratings literally from immediately after the movie versus now, that's what I would think I watched it on Friday, so 4 days of reflecting plus talking to you guys and actually like vocalizing my thoughts. I would have given it a 4.5, whereas now I would give it a 3.75, but I can't, so I'm on Letterboxd. I'll put it as a 4. Yeah, so that's dropped quite a bit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's still.
But I finished it and really enjoyed it.
When did you first watch the movie? When did you first watch it?
Yeah, high school, like 2017.
There you go. It was probably a really, really important film.
Yeah,
And you
and I
really enjoyed
I
it.
watched it in history. I absolutely was obsessed with history in high school. I still love it, but I don't study it.
Right.
And
History is pretty
I think it I loved history so much that it has sort of it's associated with that, and I do still really appreciate it.
cool.
So
Nice. That was fun.
So we're going to move on to some recommendations now.
Mm-hmm.
As this is Ollie's last episode as a host, unfortunately. He's still welcome back, but I don't know if we want him back.
So am I welcome or am I not welcome?
You will be coming back.
We'll see.
That's all
We'll
I'll say.
consult the council.
The council, which is the two of you.
Plus our
mystery
ghost.
Mystery host.
I just said ghost. Mysterious ghost.
I said guest.
our mysterious guest that will...
Host.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see when we announce it. Yeah. Do you want to start with your recommendations?
No, because I can't think of them.
That's not good.
I'm struggling. I have one for you, Jake,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't think of one for Cam.
Well,
That's fair.
I'll go first.
We've
Ollie,
watched very similar movies.
I've definitely told you this
it's,
already.
It's not because I don't know what you'd like.
I'll
It's
watch How to
because
Train Your Dragon again.
It's not an again thing. It's I'm trying to think of stuff that you haven't watched.
It has to be something we haven't seen.
Yeah.
I'll go with mine. Ollie, I need you to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That is, I've wanted to watch it for so long.
Yeah.
And I just think, because it's such a big movie, it's so long, it's conceptually very heavy, there's not a lot of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that I've put off because I know I'll really enjoy it, but I'm worried I won't.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see you not liking it. But even if you don't like it, you'll understand so much about cinema, sci-fi. I mean, Star Wars is nothing without this film.
Yeah,
as long with a lot of films, a lot of filmmakers.
Yeah, most sci-fi.
I think it's one of the
sci-fi
most
films.
important films ever. I mean, yeah, duh. So
it's also like one of the only Kubrick films I really have any interest in watching.
yeah, I'd also recommend it to you, Cam. But we're doing this for you, so I think it's a film any film fan, any filmmaker should watch. But I think you specifically, since you love Star Wars so much, you love sci-fi. I think you'll get a lot out of it, no matter what. But definitely have to be in the right headspace.
Yeah.
If you could see it in cinemas, definitely do that.
My brother tried to watch it the other day.
Yeah.
And he said that he got like 40 minutes in, and he was like, he just wasn't in the right space to watch it at the time.
Yeah.
And
That's
I said,
a bad joke.
I feel like you need to be trapped in the cinema.
You do.
Where like it's all you're focused on.
Yeah.
And so I know they play it at the Orpheum in
70
Mossman in
millimeter.
Sydney.
Yeah.
And that's definitely where I'll watch it for the first time.
I've seen it like 4 times, but all those times have been in cinemas. So I think that says a lot about what conditions, which I guess, but like it truly amplifies it to the next level. So at least for your first time, definitely see it in cinemas if you can.
Yeah.
Definitely wait for the right moment, but yeah.
Yeah, I've wanted to watch it for ages. It's like the favorite movie of one of my friends from high school.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies.
And I'm just surprised I haven't watched it so far because sci-fi is my favorite genre and Star Wars is so important to me. So yeah. Before I go writing any mega sci-fi scripts, I will have to watch it.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, great pick from Jake. Definitely. Just targeting Cam. If it's a terrible pick.
All right.
No, I'm very excited to watch that at some point. And whatever you recommend me, Cam, I will watch, even if it's a terrible pick.
So just quietly, me on the Dying Girl, I bashed on about it enough, but like genuinely, we're going to do a deep dive on it next season.
I'll have to watch it
because of how good it is. It's also very relatable if you're studying film. This is such a good movie to watch. But that's not my recommendation. My recommendation is actually Tar.
Oh,
Kate Blanchett.
Great pick. Great movie.
Just from a cinematography standpoint, it's awesome. But I think you'll like it from a story standpoint and an acting standpoint.
Yeah.
Because all the story is really easy to follow, but there's also a lot of nuances and little things that you need to pick out. And then the performances are just incredible. Blanchett absolutely wipes the floor.
It's one of the most impressive performances I've seen recently.
Yeah. I'd highly recommend it.
It also feels so much like a Kubrick film, so that would pair nicely with 2001.
Yeah, I remember when it came out and everyone was very split on it. It's another movie that people have majorly split opinions on.
Yeah.
But pretty much everyone, pretty much everyone I know that saw it really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one.
It's really good.
Yeah.
My backup would have been Gatsby, The Great Gatsby by Baz Luhrmann.
Mm.
But the book is definitely better than the film, but the film is still really good, and there's one scene that redeems the whole thing.
I need to rewatch the movie.
That's your favorite book of all time?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I have no interest in ever reading that book.
I read it. I read it in year 9 for class.
So did I.
And it was like one of the first like pieces of art that like had something behind it that I watched. Maybe like
I just think there are better stories with the same sort of premise. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, there's a reason it's a classic.
Yeah.
To be fair, but
it's also Baz Luhrmann and the way that it was adapted wasn't.
Yeah,
I just got nostalgic.
I have never seen a Baz Luhrmann film all the way through.
Me neither.
I think the only one I've seen is the first 20 minutes of Elvis. And then I had to leave the cinema.
His filmmaking style doesn't do it for me personally. It's not the type of style, not the type of filmmaking I gravitate towards. Although I'd be interested to check out Elvis, and I watched some of his Romeo and Juliet in class. That was okay. I like Leo a lot, so that was fun. I'd be interested to check out Elvis because I like Austin Butler. The Great Gatsby's just got such a great cast, and I love the story, so I was disappointed in it.
You should listen to the song "Young and Beautiful."
Oh yeah, the soundtrack to that movie
really
is really
the only
good.
bad thing is the way that it, like the final depiction of it. Everything else, the performances, the cinematography, it's really good, but it's just a bit disappointing.
Iconic GIF of Leo.
Oh yeah, with the glass.
Yeah,
an iconic what?
GIF, whatever how it's called.
We say GIF in this country.
I'm so glad I'm leaving. I never have to hear you say that again.
I'll never say it again, even when you're not here.
Good. Okay, so those are great recommendations. I'm definitely going to check them out.
Hit me, dog.
Yeah. So my recommendation for Cam. You know how much I love How to Train Your Dragon. Obviously, favorite movie. I'm going to recommend you The Sea Beast. I talked about it on our animation episode a while ago. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original, actually, I think. And it's sort of a How to Train Your Dragon style movie. Young kid, creature that terrorizes the world. Spoilers, befriends it. It's pretty sure that's in the trailer.
Pretty sure that's just How to Train Your Dragon, like you said.
But I think it's done in a unique enough way that it's very interesting. I really quite like the score, and the animation style is pretty cool. And I know how much you love WALL-E and other stuff like that. I think it fits along those lines. I think you need to branch out from Pixar animated films and watch some other animated stuff that isn't just...
Box Trolls? Love Box Trolls, but that's stop motion. No,
so that's my recommendation for you.
Okay.
And like I said while we were off the microphone, I don't know that it'll definitely be like your favorite movie of all time, but I think you'll probably solidly enjoy it, or at the very least have a good time while watching it, even if you don't think it's that good. Yeah. And then Jake, for you, I have another animated movie.
Interesting.
It is actually the other movie we were potentially going to watch for this deep dive. Your Name.
Yeah.
I know you love Ghibli movies, though you haven't seen.
There's a lot of Ghibli I haven't seen.
Yeah,
still. But
I
that's
mean, same.
That's like already on my radar. So this
same.
Is good.
But this felt like a breath of fresh air. It's like it's very Ghibli style, but I know Ghibli doesn't do a lot of romance. Like they have those like really close connections that aren't romantic. Yeah. And I think this really works in sort of taking that similar style and playing with it in a different way. And I think the animation is stunning. I'd recommend you watch it in Japanese with subtitles.
That's how I do it. That's how I do it always.
Because it is anime. The only thing I don't do that with is Ghibli, because I think I've said this before.
The dubbing is really good.
Well, yeah, they design it, they write it in English as well.
Yeah.
And cast it directly rather than it just being dubbed over. But yeah, that's my recommendation for you. I do think you will enjoy that.
Yeah, no, I definitely, a lot of people that I like love it.
And I know you want to watch Suzume as well,
yeah,
which is high up on my list to watch. And so I figured once you watch it, we can both watch Suzume and then we can talk about both of them. But yeah, they're my recommendations. I think you'll enjoy both of them. And I think both of you should watch both of those movies. But I think Cam will enjoy The Sea Beast more than Jake will, and I think, Jake, you'll enjoy Your Name more than Cam would.
Sounds good. Exciting stuff.
I do have a soft spot for like Ghibli style and Japanese anime films, just because that's what we watched in Japanese class, and we had that every week, and watched a couple films a term, and it was really good. But yeah, I think I should get back into it.
Yeah,
maybe this
100%.
might be a good avenue for it.
Yeah, there are a lot of movies that have come out in just like the past 3 or 4 years that are anime movies, not made by Studio Ghibli, that have mega, like, worldwide accolades.
For sure.
I mean, I know Your Name was like 2016, but it's still recent enough that it sort of kicked that off. Suzume was 2022.
Yeah.
This makes me feel old.
What was 10 years ago?
Nearly 10 years ago, Your Name.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it feels like every year there's a Your Name or a Suzume to watch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I'm very, very excited to hear your opinions, but it won't be on the podcast, so you'll just have to tell me.
No, we'll talk about it just without you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have to listen.
I will listen. I will definitely be listening.
Oh, sorry, he's still here. Whoops.
I actually did watch that. It sucks.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
Jake watched Your Name anyway.
I just watched it. Pretty mid.
Yeah.
I'll rent it and we'll watch it together.
Yeah, cool.
I recommended it to my friend who has never watched a single anime thing. Well, at the time, had never watched a single anime thing in his life.
Yeah.
He didn't watch it, but I recommended it to him because I still thought he would like it.
Yeah. Seems like one of those.
Yeah. Well, why don't we jump into our final game of Quick Pitch with me involved?
Wow.
And then that'll be it.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, who wants to pick? Who's picking what?
You choose what you want to pick since you're the last.
I'm going to pick the genre.
Okay.
I'll pick the director.
I will pick the actor.
Okay.
Dan Beaumont.
I think it should be a noir film. Have we done a noir? We did a noir.
We did.
But it was a while ago.
Crime noir.
We've done crime noir.
Well, it was kind of a rom-com noir. But I think we should do
that's that one.
like an action noir.
Okay.
Like in the vein of The Departed or something like that.
I've got my actor.
Who's your actor?
Nicolas Cage.
Spider Noir?
That's it. That's all I thought of, and I think he would absolutely kill it.
You guys are Spider-Verse piled, but I respect it.
Pilled.
Yeah, god dang it.
I'm still working my way through Across the Spider-Verse.
Bro, it's a 2-hour film.
For the 4th time.
It's longer than 2 hours, but
for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
I didn't say noir because of Spider-Man noir.
No. You know what?
I know. I'm saying Cam is.
Shush. What's your director?
Who do you want directing Nicolas Cage in a gritty noir film?
James Cameron.
James Cameron?
I want him to get away from Avatar as much as I love Avatar.
He has done... I mean, apart from Titanic, he's pretty much done purely sci-fi.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see something like
this. But The Terminator is pure noir.
Well, yeah, I guess.
But sci-fi
it's
noir.
Sci-fi noir.
But, like, yeah, he could definitely do
I
noir.
feel like it's sci-fi action genres, and then noir is, like, the styling.
Let me make sure. Yeah, James Cameron's going to be my final choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
I'm picturing that the gritty, dark, rainy streets of...
Chicago.
Los Angeles.
Wow.
LA Noir.
New York City.
Hey.
London.
Newark.
Yeah. Seattle. Rains all the time.
Of just some city. London.
It's got to be a big city.
London, but American.
London?
Yep, London.
Yeah,
but everybody has an American accent. I'm picturing super stylized with CGI, but really, really good CGI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cameron, he knows how to use that. So.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
He's been writing this for 7 years. And he's finally, like, the technology has caught up with my vision.
He started on it when he was born.
Yeah.
Imagine if Spielberg had this kind of access when he was in his prime.
It doesn't matter. Films are still great.
It would still be great.
But you're right.
It would just look
It's very true.
cooler.
Yeah. I mean, Ready Player One is that, but it's not.
Ready Player One does look very good.
It looks awesome. It's just not a good. Speaking of adaptations, not a good adaptation.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Oh, interesting.
You
haven't seen it? Oh, yeah.
No, I have seen it. That's why I said I might not have.
Ready Player One is also one of my favorite books.
Exactly. That's why I thought it was that.
Yeah.
Okay, so gritty London, very stylized. So
big skyscrapers.
Mm-hmm.
it's very dark. It's very rainy, which happens in London.
Mm-hmm.
It ends with the sun coming out. No, is that too cliche? Maybe the sun comes out in the middle.
That's very Batman.
I think, okay,
Middle's
so
good.
Our story progression starts at a low point, gets higher, there's a false climax,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes back down and it actually ends in a worse place.
It has
than
to
it
end on
started.
a
Corrupt city officials. That's about it. And a mob boss.
Yeah, it has to end on a low point.
Maybe Nick Cage is the mob boss,
Yeah, that would be good.
and he's on a path to redeem himself,
Mm-hmm.
and it fails.
He's trying to get out of the game.
Have
He
you
wants
heard
to
of
get
the
out of the
film?
game.
Have you heard of the film's Anger Management?
Yeah, I've seen Anger Management.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from this.
What?
Yeah,
How are you
kinda.
getting an Adam Sandler comedy from this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh wait,
You must be thinking of something different.
Analyze this. Sorry.
Oh,
Analyze this.
De Niro.
It's very.
No, I haven't seen
similar
those.
name.
Yeah, but I want to see that.
Also, that's a recommendation as well if you want.
Analyze
This and analyze that.
Yeah, De Niro and Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I want
pretty
to see
good.
those movies.
Really good. It's a mob boss who gets therapy about wanting to be a better person.
That's great.
And
This
it's
is
so
going to be.
funny.
This is that he's a mob boss and he wants to get out of the game, but it's
It's
not
comedy.
therapy.
No.
It's gritty. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
gritty. He's fighting his way out. He's trying. He wants to get out, but he's not telling anyone else in the mob,
Mm.
and so
Right.
he's still having to order them around.
The gentleman.
Yeah, not like yes, but no.
Oh,
Maybe
no,
not.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's not make it London.
Okay, it's a bit much. Let's make
Then
it.
it is the
It's gonna get
gentleman.
Guy
Let's
Ritchie.
make it Melbourne in the 70s.
Melbourne.
Melbourne, yeah, Melbourne in the 70s. That'd be cool. Because
Melbourne?
Melbourne is very, its architecture is very London-esque, but I imagine if you pizzazz it up with some CGI, it would look really cool as a crime noir.
Fair enough.
Pizzazz up is not a good way to say that. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's trying to get out, and he almost makes it. Like he gets out. Maybe there's one thing about The Last Samurai is it had a lot of montage.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a bit of a montage in The Last Samurai style, where it's like it's a slow montage. It's a lot of different shots. It cycles through them,
'Cause if
but
you
it's
don't
not
do it
snappy.
right, it'll be comedic.
Yeah, it's not snappy. It's just we see where he's ended up,
Mm-hmm.
and then something happens. He comes home and his wife is dead, or he comes home and something awful has happened,
Yeah.
and he has to dive back in. And we think it still feels like there's a chance at redemption. He's just doing this one last thing. He gets the cops involved, and then he just
And the cops
progresses
turn on
way
him.
past the point of return, way past the point of no return, and just it ends. Yeah, the cops turn on him.
But
and
there's a
he
goody two
gets-
shoes commissioner that turns on him because of yes, he's still helping out the police, but he's done these awful crimes and he needs to be punished for them.
What are you thinking, Jake? Is it sounding good or is it sounding a bit cliche?
It's a little cliche.
What's wrong with a little bit
but
of cliche though?
Cameron's films are very cliche,
That's fair.
and I still love them.
Do you think you could
Because-
see him writing this?
Yeah, for sure. Because Cameron's films are cliche and simple in their stories, but go above and beyond in the
Unobtainium.
visuals. Yeah, I mean, yeah, go above and beyond.
That's
in the
not
visuals.
cliche. That's just dumb. Sorry.
It's both.
It's
It's
dumb.
very bad. It's very bad. I'm not going to defend that, but yeah, the visuals, the atmosphere, the world building are out of this world, amazing. So I think it would work. I think it would be special for other reasons. But cliche is never really that bad.
Yeah.
Not never.
Depends
it can
how
be.
you play it.
But yeah,
That's all.
yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to end that. We've got our quick pitch. What's it called?
What's it called?
Something to do with the streets and something to do with power struggles.
Something about getting out.
Yeah, but not Get Out, because that. I think someone's already used that one. I can't remember.
Maybe someone has.
I'm not sure.
Moonlit Window.
I like
Okay.
it.
Great.
And
there's a
mob
metaphor
boss
in my
chair-
mind for that.
His mob boss chair is a window that looks over the
And
city.
the poster is a window
Yes.
that's open with curtains fluttering,
Yeah.
and the moonbeam is like coming in, and his chair's in the front with him as a silhouette,
Yeah.
and he's looking out, and it's like,
Yeah.
I could get out,
Yeah.
I could go out, but you don't know, is there a way down, or is he going to plummet?
I like it.
That's great.
really good. That's poetic as
Yeah.
hell.
That was a strong. That was a strong final quick.
Nelly,
quick pitch.
whoops. This is public radio.
That was a strong final quick pitch.
I think it's good. I can't wait for Cameron to make it.
Yeah.
Just give me that
Please.
writing credit, that story credit. He can write it. Give me that story credit.
You're freaking me out.
In
Please stop saying it
2200,
like
when
that.
he's done making Avatar films, he'll make it.
Oh my goodness. When's the last one coming out? It's like
2031 or something.
Avatar, James Cameron, release schedule.
Because he's already shot them all, right?
He's shot like
He's
3 through 5.
No, he's shot all of 3 and most of 4 and bits of 5.
Yes, I must have been tripping. 3 comes out. Well, no, that got pushed back.
He's got Star Wars dreams.
Release dates into 2031. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Jesus. However, that's only 5 years away.
2031 is
6 years away. 7.
7. Yeah.
My math's not good. I'm still freaking out about 2016 nearly being a decade ago.
The next one comes out next year, 2025. That's all I'm focused on right now.
Get keen.
Yep, I am.
Imagine the CGI.
It's instead of water, it's fire.
It's fire.
It's gonna be so.
And then the
cool.
last one's going to be the Earth guys. And then well, actually, we've already had the Earth, so we're going to have the Air guys.
Aang's gonna show up.
Yeah, and then it's going to be revealed that Jake Sully is the Avatar.
Yeah,
and he's going to start using all these mystical powers. And then Nickelodeon are going to sue James Cameron.
I actually think Jake Sully's gonna die in the next one.
I think so. I was surprised he didn't die in this one.
He should have.
Instead of his son.
I think
No, the son made sense.
either he should have been the clear main character all the way through, or he should have died in this one.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because like as soon as they brought in that it was going to be about his kids, he should have died.
I thought he was dying.
Because it was very clearly not his film.
But I think he's going to be fighting so hard for redemption in the next one about the fact that his son died.
Yeah.
That he will die.
He set it up well.
in an action of protecting the rest of
it. It's set up well for sure. Yeah, I like Jake Sully. It's fun to say.
Oh my god, Sully.
Okay, so you said there's a little bit of Film Society stuff.
There is. So as of recording, we have a screening on Thursday. So unfortunately, if you wanted to come and see it,
Hope you enjoyed.
hope you enjoyed. And if you didn't, how dare you? It's okay. There'll be
You're the
one
worst.
next. There'll be one next semester. Speaking of next semester,
Good segue.
we have a lot of plans. So we also have, starting off with this show, we have an unnamed host.
You'll
We
find
do know
out.
who it is. We will find out through
The show.
probably in the first episode of next season.
Maybe.
But we also have a bunch of events coming up next semester in the Film Society. We're going to be doing trivia again. We're going to do a bunch of more screenings with Ben, who was running the Soviet screenings. I think we're going to probably keep going with
for
Soviet
sure.
screenings
Those were
because
awesome.
of copyright. But we finally, at the end of the year, the big premiere event of the UC Film Festival, which we don't have any details on at the moment, but we will try and open submissions as soon as we can. You are able to submit any film that is no older than 2 years old. It doesn't have to be made for uni. It could have been something you made outside of uni. There will be massive prizes. There'll be voting, a whole bunch of things. Get very excited. I'm excited. Ollie better be there. You can get some autographs from him. And yeah, that's...
I will be at the premiere event of the winning films in my best suit. Maybe I'll even MC. We'll see.
That'd be cool.
That would be special.
Yeah, apart from that,
But yeah.
congratulations to the winners of each category for the screening this Thursday. I think.
Which
Just
we
in
don't
case.
know right now.
Which we don't know yet, but we will.
We
It's
will.
crazy how time
By
works.
the time this has come out, you guys will know.
No.
No. Well, Jake, you have to judge that. So.
No, I don't.
Jake's a judge.
Nope.
Well,
Isn't that a little biased considering he was involved in some of the films?
The drop off is winning everything.
Well, we can't find another judge.
Mm.
Unfortunately.
Outsource.
Tried that.
Outsource further.
We'll outsource. Don't worry.
That's not gonna
It's going to be nepotism. Anyway.
Yeah.
As always.
So, for the last time, thanks for joining us for this week of Off Camera. Jake and Cam will see you next season. And thank you for having me as your host for these past 2 seasons.
It's been a pleasure.
For the last time. That's a wrap on Ollie.
See you.